Is tequila better than bourbon? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. As you can see on the bar top here, we have some clear liquid on the table here. It is not dark brown delicious bourbon. It is tequila, but not just any tequila. This right here is a blind that is sent to us from Doc over at Old Fashioned Ways. If you have not checked out his channel, make sure you do so. Go check the link down below to his channel and give him some love. Let him know that you came from me over at the Everyday Drinker and give him some love. But right here in front of us, we have some really fun tequilas. These are all finished in Buffalo Trace product barrels. Now, he only told me about 6 of them, and I have 7 in front of me. I have no idea what that 7th one can be. I have no idea what is in what glass, but I do have what they are finished in. So we have one that's finished in a William Larue barrel, one that's finished in an Eagle Rare barrel, one that's finished in Blantons, one in Elmer T Lee, one in Thomas H. Handy, and another one finished in George T Stagg. And that 7th sample is going to be a surprise when we open up the answer key. Now, I have wanted to dabble in the game of tequilas, but there's just so many of them, just like bourbons and whiskeys and stuff like that. You can start off on the wrong path. I just don't know where to start. And I think this right here is going to be a very, very good start. These are all I don't even know how to say it. Corazon, I think it's how it's pronounced. Could be botching that name like you wouldn't believe. But if you are a bourbon drinker and you also enjoy your tequila, let me know down in the comments below what tequilas I should possibly pick up to start enjoying. I know Blancos are not ones that you would really typically want to sip on, but you want to start sipping on the Reposados and the Anejos. But these, I believe, are all Reposados. This one here, E, is a little darker. I don't think that's pushing an anejo, but I do believe that all of these here are Reposado tequilas that we are going to be sipping on. What I'm going to do in this right here is I'm just going to put them in order on what I think is the best out of these 7, pick my favorite, and then we're going to open that blind answer key to see what they are. But if you enjoy this content, make sure you drop that like down below. Smash the subscribe button if you're brand new, because 5,000 subscribers is right around the corner. We just hit 4,000 subscribers. Can't thank you guys enough for that. But without further ado, we're going to start on our right here with sample A, and I'm just going to nose it really quick, give you guys what I find off of the nose, and then taste these suckers and see just how good these are. If I can handle my tequila or if I'm just a bourbon drinker. Let's find out. These being finished in bourbon barrels, I'm going to imagine I might find a little hint of all of those bourbon-esque qualities that you find in bourbon, but I do think that agave spirit is going to come through a little bit more. A sweet nose, but that's very, very mellow. I don't know the proof on any of these either, so I'm going in completely blind. But let's just go in for the sip. I don't even know if these are supposed to be poured in a Glencairn. I just did it because it's the only glass that I have multiple of. But let's get into the palate. I really don't know what I'm supposed to be finding in this, right? I get a burst of citrus. You get that agave funkiness, that bite from the agave, but it's not super like upfront and punches you in the face like a Blanco does. It's mellowed off and it's a little bit easier to sip. Actually not too bad whatsoever. It has a little tinge of a burn at that last little bit, but nonetheless, sample A, it's pretty darn good. Let's get into sample B though. Sample B is a completely different nose. I get a lot more agave spirit of that, like that earthiness. Smells like dirt, but it has a little bit of a nuttiness in there as well, which is interesting. But I definitely get a little bit more of that agave punch from B to A. But it doesn't transfer over into the palate. The palate is a little bit different. I'm getting a little bit more of like a vanilla and sweeter, like sweet confectioner sugar off of this. I think I like B a little bit more than A. I find it to be a little bit more sweeter. Has a little bit more of like a burn, but it's not a bad burn. A had this weird burn, this like overly charry burn that was at the very end, and I think B right now is in the lead. But Without further ado, let's find out what C is all about. Well, C has this sweetness off of the nose. A very, very sweet nose. Almost like candy, like a lemon candy. I like that nose. I want to see if it follows into the palate. Easy sipper right there. That is super, super easy. Wow. That is insanely easy to just sit back and sip. No pungent flavors whatsoever. Very, very mellow and subdued. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It would be super funny if C is the Blantons finished, because we always talk smack about Blantons, right? But it's one of those bourbons that you can just sit back and sip very, very easily. It's a very easy sipper. And C reminds me, this could be the Blantons of tequila. You know, it's probably one that's super expensive, goes for crazy prices on secondary, but just once you get it, you wish that it didn't have that crazy price tag. But that is an easy, easy, easy tequila sip right there. And I don't think that the flavor combats what the flavor of B has. So right now I'm going B. Here's what I'm gonna just start putting these in order of what I think my favorites are. So there we are. So that one is in lead. So here we go. We are on D. So let's find out. Okay, this is like a vanilla bomb. I enjoy this nose. This might be my favorite nose out of the 4 so far. You can get your nose deep in there. I enjoy that a lot. If I'm gonna say anything, I think that this one could possibly be like a Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1 finish, and it could possibly be the George T Stagg. I'm gonna take a guess and say D is the Stagg finish. That's a very nice nose, but I don't like the palate. It doesn't. I think it's a little bit more flavorful than what is in this glass here. What is this one again? This one is A. I think it's a little bit more flavorful than A, but it has this like super, super smoky, like oaky flavor coming through from it. And obviously that would be from the tequila itself, but I'm not a fan of that flavor profile on the palate, but nonetheless, really enjoy the nose, but it is second to last place at the moment. All right, so we're moving into glass number 5 here. The darkest one out of everything, sample E, whatever this one could be. Oh, wow. That is a much different nose. All of these have been completely different. I thought that this was just going to be tequila inbound with hints of some other notes in there, but this has been notes everywhere, but hints of tequila here and there throughout each process. Very, very different. Coming into this a little intimidated, not knowing what to expect, and very, very pleased by each nose being completely different. I would imagine all of them might be the same tequila, but finishing in different barrels completely changes each one. You get hints of, you know, I'm going off of what I know from the Buffalo Trace lineup, and I'm getting a lot of orange. I'm getting a little bit of like a spiciness out of this, and I'm going to guess that E might be the Thomas H. Handy finish because of that nose profile I'm getting out of it. But let's get into the palate. I really enjoy that. That is a very pleasant sip. No funky burn, no funky smokiness, no bitterness coming off of this. Sweet and citrusy. This is in the lead. I like this one a lot. I like whatever is in sample E a boatload compared to everything else. I think these top 2 right here are definitely leaps and bounds a little bit better than these 3 right here. But without further ado, let's get into sample 6 here. Sample F and C, what it's all about. This one, very, very pungent on that agave spirit. That agave is coming through this like none other at the moment. I don't know why it smells very, very smoky, earthy. I get a touch of pineapple as well. That's an interesting note. Stone fruits, a little pear in there. But very, very, very agave forward. If I were to do anything with this one, not knowing what it was, this would be mixed in a margarita 100% compared to these other ones, just going off of the nose, which is obviously, nose doesn't always transfer into the palate, but if I'm going to guess, this one might be a little bit spicy for my liking. So, cheers, guys. Actually, you know, I've been flabbergasted by each one of these being so unique and different compared to each of the other ones, that this nose just does not transfer into the palate, and half the time you're not going to get a nose to transfer completely into the palate. But you can sometimes guess what it's going to do. And for me, this one's going in third place. And we've got one more tequila sample to go through. Again, if you are all enjoying this, make sure you let me know. Drop that link down below. Let me know what tequilas you all enjoy. Ooh, this is the most different nose compared to a tequila nose that I would expect out of a tequila finished in a bourbon barrel, right? Sweet. Ooh, all right. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess that G is finished in the William Larue Weller barrel. Very, very different. Very sweet. Has that earthy, sweet, earthy tones coming off of it. I enjoy that nose a boatload. A shit ton. A crocodile landing. Let's get in the palate though. Very mellow. Very, very mellow. I think that this is the mellow one. What is this? B? No. B is the... Yeah, B is the... No. What is the mellow? C, I think. I don't even remember what the mellow one was, what the Blantons of all of these are. But very mellow as well. Nose transfers completely into the palate. This is probably the only one that transfers from nose to palate 100%. I like it, but it's not my favorite. I do think that this is the order that we're going to go in. And yeah, so... All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our lineup of what I find to be my favorite tequila finished in Buffalo Trace Antique Collection barrels. And we're going to find out just which one of these I guessed correctly and which one I actually enjoyed the most. These were all very, very interesting, right? I mean, I've never just traditionally just sipped tequila neat as it is. I've always just had it mixed in a cocktail. And this was a very fun thing to do. I didn't expect any of these to actually be decent because I'm typically not a tequila drinker, but nonetheless, very, very fun. All right, so Doc, are you ready to rumble? So A was Thomas H. Handy Añejo, finished for 19 months. B was the Eagle Rare Añejo. C was the Blantons Reposado. D was the George T Stagg Añejo, finished for 22 months. E was just their straight Añejo. F was the William Larue Weller Reposado. And G was the Elmer T Lee Reposado, finished for 12 months. So, let's find out right now what came in last place. Last place was letter A. And that's the Thomas H. Handy. That's very interesting. Let's find out what came in second to last place, which is sixth place. Sixth place goes to letter D. Letter D was the George T. Stagg Añejo. Okay, so 2 out of the whatever amount of B-Tech bottles are in last place. Very, very interesting. Let's find out what came in fifth place. Fifth place goes to letter C. Letter C is the Blantons Reposado. Did I guess that one? I feel like I said that C was the Blantons of tequila, and if I did, that's pretty fucking crazy. So without further ado, we're going to go into fourth place. Fourth place goes to letter G. Letter G is the Elmer T Lee Reposado. I'm pretty sure G is the last one in. I think I said that was a William Larue Weller, so I was wrong on that one. But without further ado, we are on our podium. And in third place, out of the tequilas, we've got letter F. F is the William Larue Weller Reposado, coming in third place. And as always, we always want to know what came in first place over second place. So first place goes to letter E. And letter E, strangely enough, is just the Corazon Añejo, not finished in anything. And this glass is B, which is the Eagle Rare. That is, in my opinion, very, very interesting to have a tequila that was not finished in anything, just a straight tequila, coming in first place out of everything here, in my opinion, is insane. Not knowing a thing about any of these, yeah, that is darn good stuff. That is really good stuff. I don't expect any of you to take anything I said during this blind with a grain of salt, but if you do, just know that just straight tequila finished in a regular barrel. I don't know what their añejo, just traditional añejo barrel is. If it's an old bourbon barrel or scotch barrel or whatever, you never know. But darn good stuff. Nonetheless, all of these were good, but there are some that were a little bit better. I'd probably say these 4 were a little bit better than these ones here. Nonetheless, all of them are good, but there's just one that was just, in my opinion, a little bit better. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, it's been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.